Good morning, it's Grace.Filled, and today I thought that I would do something really special. I thought that I would try Becky's German pancake recipe that she just did in a video. It looks so good, and I just love her. I've been following her for a really long time, and I thought that I would just give it a go. So this morning when I was thinking about what I was going to cook, I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to cook, and I am super excited. We are able to use fresh eggs from our ladies outside, and so that's really good. Unfortunately, like, I don't have my own vanilla, but that is something that I'm definitely gonna be working on. But anyway, I just thought that I would bring you along as maybe I get a few things done today. I'm not really sure. I'm not on my typical schedule with the children and with the homeschooling, so I do have a little bit more time. For those of you guys who do not know, I'm a mommy of 5 and I homeschool 4 of my children. And so today I think that I might bake a few things. I know I have one load of laundry to take care of. They've already been outside and taken care of the goat and the chickens. They've given food to the cats. I don't know if they've given food to the fish or not, but either way, I've got my apron on. She's in her apron. My son told me the other day, he was like, Mom, I know that I'm gonna get some really good food when you're in your apron. So I'm in my apron. Let's see what I can get done. I don't know how this video is gonna turn out. I might just make the pancakes and that's it. But I might do some mac and cheese, and although I don't eat it, my children and husband eat salmon, so I might do mac and cheese, salmon, and Becky did a really beautiful stuffing. I might attempt that, and who knows? And let's just see what I can get done in this kitchen today. But I just wanted to bring you along with me, so thanks for watching. Okay, so I decided I am gonna make the mac and cheese, so I've got out my elbows. I've got some sharp cheddar. I have this Parmesan. I have this Monterey Jack. I have this mozzarella. And I know already what I'm gonna do with this is the 5 cheese mac. And this 5 cheese mac I made the first time from This and That over with Miss Denise Gordon, and it was such an amazing mac and cheese. So I'm definitely gonna be making that mac and cheese again. I have all of my cheeses, so I know I'm gonna do that. Let me go ahead and get the crackers out, because I do have cream cheese and the crackers and the butter and stuff. So I am going to make the pumpkin cheesecake from Becky. I decided I'm going to do it. So basically, I guess this will be just like a cook with me video. So I'll figure out how to title it, but so the first thing is just going ahead and getting the oven on, getting it preheated. Too easy. It's just getting the water ready for the noodles. Gotta multitask. I've got some water for the mac behind me, and I am getting my butter to go into my dish. I am just simply putting it into the pan. I'm gonna stick it into the oven.
You're not with the other side table?
I thought about doing 2 recipes of this, but I think that I'm just gonna do the one, since I have some other things that I do plan to do, and I actually only have 1 oven.
So, I always say here on my channel that I am here to inspire, encourage, and motivate you in your home, in your homemaking, in your life. And I thought that I would use this time to talk to you about something that's on my heart, and that is homemaking. Because we see so many different videos and we see it portrayed in so many ways. And I thought that maybe you guys would allow me a few minutes just to speak from my heart. I'll say that homemaking takes time. It's not something that you just jump up and you can do tomorrow and you can do well at. It takes energy, it takes time, it takes research, it takes resources, and if someone tells you that it doesn't, they're not being 100% honest with you. It's not about romanticizing your life. It's not fantasizing your life. I can stand here and romance this thing all day, but the fact is, it took me the work to mix the ingredients, to get the ingredients out after everything that I made, to clean it up and to keep the kitchen tidy and to keep everything in its spot and to, pay attention to how long everything needed to be in the oven or in the blender or on the stove. Otherwise, I wouldn't get what it was that I was intending to get. And that's what happens in our life when we don't pay attention and when we romanticize certain things, then we don't get what it is that we're intending to get. And sometimes we end up losing. For some people, homemaking comes easy. It comes natural to them. They've seen what it looks like. Maybe their mother was a homemaker or their aunt or family members or things like that. That if you don't look like others look, if your bread is not turning out the way you want, or if you're just overwhelmed and life just seems chaotic and crazy, I just want to encourage you that it's okay. It's fine if you don't get it right away. Just keep trying and don't give up. Remember, we all arrive to our destination at different points and different times, and we all learn differently. And honestly, I will say there is no right or wrong way to do this thing. I think as long as you're giving, doing, and trying your best, that is enough. I think that the results will speak for themselves. I will say one tip that has helped me has been to clean as I go. And so that's why instead of skipping all this like I typically would, I'm including this so that you can see it.
Often some of these homemakers will tell you all these things, all these tips, but you never see them do the work. And, sometimes you need to see how it's done. Some people are visual learners and they learn well by seeing things visually. So while I cannot show every single meal that I make, I hope that these last few videos that I've been taking the time to clean my house, to do laundry, to organize, to declutter, to cook will be a helpful hands-on visual for you, that you not just hear the words, but that you see actions. I'm from Missouri. I'm from the Show Me State. Okay, not really. I'm from Georgia Peach, but let's pretend I'm from Missouri. I'm from the Show Me State. So I don't want to just hear you talk. I want to see it as well. And I understand that.
Honestly, that was pretty simple and pretty easy, and it didn't leave me with much cleanup. But one thing I'm trying to do, since it is so many of us and so many dishes with everything that we do, is just being intentional that as soon as I am done with something, that I go ahead and just wash it and just try to clean it up right away. That leaves my kitchen clean. That's less for me, less for anyone else who's helping. So we're just going to go ahead and set this timer so that we do not forget about this while we're doing everything else. So the water is ready, and I'm just adding a little bit of salt and a little bit of macaroni.
Let's talk for a little bit, because you guys know when you are trying to do something, things do not always go the way you want it, okay? So what happened was the pancakes are in the oven and they're almost done and they look and smell amazing. And my noodles are on. I have everything for the mac. Obviously, I have everything for the pancakes. And I tried to work this recipe and I can't. I don't know what happened, but I thought I had 3 cream cheeses. I said, no problem. I can do the math. I can just kind of cut everything by 1/3 because you need 3 packages. I have 2. Oh, like, okay, we can cut everything by 1/3. We're gonna be okay. I needed sour cream. I didn't have sour cream, but there are so many sour cream alternatives. So I found an alternative. So I'm like, yes, we're smooth going. We're smooth sailing. I still got it all going on. I go to my section of pumpkin. Mind you, I just had about 6 or 7 cans. There is no pumpkin. There's no pumpkin. There is actually no pumpkin here. So, I am gonna have to do something and either tell my husband, hey honey, can you pick up some pumpkin on your way home? Or maybe I go out and I get more cream cheese and pumpkin. But we'll see, because there is a store that he can just stop in and out and get the pumpkin if they have it, and I can just continue with the way the recipe is going. So we'll see. I'm gonna have to put that one on hold for now. I feel so bad because I've already told you guys that's what we're doing. But just like things happen in your life at home, same thing here. Like, YouTubers are not exempt. Like when did he eat all that pumpkin? But hindsight, we did have pumpkin muffins. We have had a lot of pumpkin things. So there's no pumpkin. Let's keep it moving.
So to be honest, that is our next tip. And that is just being flexible. Being able to do something else without losing control and without getting all flustered and overwhelmed. Because you know what? Things happen. We live in this place called life, and things come up all the time. And all we have to do is just say, okay, that didn't work, on to the next. I can't make the pumpkin cheesecake right now, but I can bake a cake. And so that's exactly what I did in this video. I made like a chocolate chip cake, one with chocolate chips, and I added some butterscotch to the other one. And that worked. But if you get so discouraged when things don't work, you may end up with nothing, and that's not good. Some people like to call this plan A and plan B. Now, I will say, I just jumped up and decided that I would fill my day on a whim. So this was not something that I prepared, that I took an inventory of. I typically have certain ingredients always on hand. And since I know that, I'm typically able to do most things. In this situation, I ran out of some things and did not put them on my list. Therefore, I was unaware, or someone else used the last of something and they did not put it on my list. So I think that that's a great tip 3, and that is to really have a nice running pantry, larder, store, whatever you want to call it, cabinet, shelves, so that you can just decide, I want to make something, and you can just make it. I'm definitely not the type of person that every day I cook, I want to go to the store. Absolutely not. I might go to the store between 2 to 4 times a month, but that's it. And that's because, again, when we're all here, we're a family of 7, but I don't like, or nor do I enjoy going out to the store every day or going out to the store like that. I absolutely don't. So it's really important for me to make sure that I have everything I need here. When we were in our last house, in our last property, we lived 3 minutes from a store, from a grocery store. And honestly, it was absolutely amazing. I never had to really be concerned because I could always just go to that grocery store and everything was perfect and it didn't matter. Now that we sold that property on 0.03 acres to come here to have a little over 6 acres, we're no longer 3 minutes from a store. We are far from a store. And so I don't enjoy that ride. I don't enjoy doing that. So I plan my trips to the store on when I have another activity, so I can just do 2 things at once, and I am totally utilizing grocery pickup. And so that is another tip that I would leave with you. Not only to go ahead and make sure that you have a well-stocked home, 1, for an emergency, 2, so that you're not always running out, so you're able to make amazing recipes without worrying if you have the ingredients or not.
I have 3 cups of milk. I have 4 eggs, 3 tablespoons of sugar and salt, and this is all going to be blended. And this is going to go on top of my mac when I'm ready. As soon as I was done with the macaroni, this got washed off. So we're just going to take it over and let the work begin.
And if you're enjoying this video so far, would you do me a favor and just give me a thumbs up? It would greatly help my videos and help my channel here. And while I am going ahead and using Jeff Rogers lasagna style of this mac and cheese, where you're alternating between the noodles, the cheese, the basil, I thought that I would also give another tip. So I think this is tip 4. And this tip is that many hands make light work in most cases. Sometimes with children, many hands make a lot more work and it makes slower work. And that's what I want to talk about for the next couple seconds, that it's okay. I know sometimes it can be frustrating, to be honest, and sometimes it can slow you down a little bit. But if you want them to help you when they're older, it must start now while they are younger. I promise you, this is the absolute truth. My oldest is 16, my youngest is 6, and I have 3 more in between. And I tell you, when they were all little, I had them all helping. And right now, all of my guys can make cornbread. All of my guys can make just simple things, simple meals. And my bigger guys can actually make a full meal. And I'm not saying that to brag or anything like that, because if you've been following me these 6 years on YouTube, you know that's not my style at all. I'm here to help and be a blessing and be the light and the information and the encouragement that I wish that I had during this time of my life that I did not have. And so my mission has been to give to others the thing that I did not have and that I so desperately needed. All of my kids can cook. All of my kids can sew. All of my kids can clean. Now, they don't always clean, especially the bathroom. And all of my kids have an animal or animals that they are responsible for taking care of. Again, this is probably one of the hardest things of being a mom, homemaker, especially with so many little ones. But again, if you can master this early on, it makes a difference later on. And so one of the best gifts that I could have given to myself as a young mom was letting my children help me with everything, because now they help me with everything and I need that, because it's not just me. And honestly, I could spend the entire day in the kitchen cooking and cleaning and get nothing else done. But there are other things that I need to do, that I want to do. And so little things like having the kids help you just makes life easier. It makes it more fun. And it's a perfect opportunity to talk, chit chat about what's going on and to really touch and reach their hearts. So while they are helping me with the cornbread, and while another one is helping me with the coleslaw, then I'm doing X, Y, and maybe the other child is doing Z. And so if we're all working together, that 15-minute block, we can be completely done with every single thing versus it taking me 1 hour to do it all by myself. So that's just what I'm talking about when I say many hands make light work. And I have been sharing all these videos from day one. And you can see my baby girl from the time she was in my belly all the way up to how I raised her, how I just did some things. And that's just if you want to see other options and alternatives. But one of the things that I've always said is you guys have to do what works for you, what feels good for you, what you think is best. I have never told anyone to do anything on my channel. I just share with you my lifestyle because I have gotten so many questions about it. But ultimately, the choice is up to you, and I love and support you no matter what you do. And I think that that's an important thing to note in your homemaking, that it may not look like somebody else's definition of homemaking, and that's okay too, as long as it's working for you and for your family. That's really all that matters. Okay, so I had my first son when I was 18. and I have been married for going on 14 years. And although I have been home with my children for most of these years, I would say out of 16 years, I was home probably 13 years. I was more of a boss babe, right? Like I ran a licensed childcare and I was selling bath bombs and soaps and all sorts of body products, and any way that I could make a dollar, I was on it so that I could bring in extra money for my home and be a blessing, and I could be a help.
Okay, so our mac and cheese is in the oven. We're making some progress here. So I was so busy eating the pancakes. But yes, everything is going great. We are making some progress. I need to go check and see about the laundry. Let's go do that. Me and all the kids are in here just chit-chatting. They're doing what they do. We're making things, making mac and cheese, trying German muffin or German pancakes. Talking about stories that we're listening to and reading. It's a beautiful day. And actually it's getting warmer outside, so maybe I'll take you guys outside later.
Well, I can definitely see some eras of my ways, and it hasn't been until honestly this past maybe year and a half that I have really been able to be just a homemaker, meaning without having a focus of making money, selling this, making that, and really just give my family more attention and more of the attention that they've needed. So I don't come from the standpoint of being a homemaker from the start. I don't come knowing what homemaking should look like. I don't come with that homemaking spoon, if you will, in my mouth. I come from having it all together, but what I do have, I give to you, and that was my desire to be the best that I could be. And so I've just been enjoying sharing my life and some of the things that I've learned with you guys along the way. So, another thing that I want to share while I have you, as we're just making all the things and taking care of laundry and things like that, is I know that there's a lot of back and forth when it comes to schedule. Some people love it, some people don't. Some people prefer more of a routine. I will say I really tried routine, and I tried like block schedules and just kind of checking off lists. And that has worked for certain seasons of my life. And then I've also tried the Erin Condren daily planner that's broken down by the hour. And I would say there has been seasons where I absolutely love that, especially if I'm adding my homeschool stuff into that. That is absolutely phenomenal. But I just wanted to say that to say it's okay if you change and if things change in your homemaking, in your homeschool, in your life, right? Like, come on, what stays the same? Like, things change every single day. Seasons change. Like, there is no ands, ifs, and buts about it. It will change. And so it's okay if things change for you too. It's okay if you've never wanted to wear an apron before and now you love them and you want to wear them. It's okay if you've never baked bread before and now all of a sudden you want to bake it all the time. It's okay if you've never thought about cooking from scratch and you've always done more of convenient style meals and now you want to try making things more from scratch and just making healthier meals. That's absolutely okay. You may say, I tried to homestead and tried to grow my own stuff and I don't like that, so I don't want to do that anymore, and that's okay. You may say that I tried canning, I didn't enjoy it, I don't want to do that anymore. And I think the point that I'm trying to say, and I think you get it, is it's okay if you try things and you don't like it, and it's okay if you want to try things that you've never seen, thought about, heard,
or even imagined before. And trust me, that's been my life. I've seen something and I'm like, oh, I want to try that. So that I wanted to just share that and stress that, because to me that is so important. And so there are some things that will work on a daily basis, like making beds and feeding pets, loading, running, emptying the dishwasher, sweeping up some places in the house, cleaning the sinks, and changing out maybe your dish towels and wiping your counters, cooking dinner. Things like that, taking vitamins, maybe getting your clothes out for tomorrow. Those are things that are kind of daily things, right? Like for the most part, those are things that you do daily. But then there are some things like maybe wiping the sink or emptying the trash or doing laundry, reading to your kids, exercising, quiet times that maybe you can set for certain days. Maybe you don't need to do those every day. I do, but our lives are different. I think that a person obviously who has 1 or 2 children may not need to empty the trash as much as a family that's larger, but at the same time, a family that's larger and that's more eco-friendly, that's doing glass and fresh, so again, it's okay either way. But the most important thing, and the tip that I want to leave with you, is to pencil yourself in. Like while you're doing things that you need to do daily or schedule weekly, schedule yourself in there. You are important. You are the keeper of your home. You are here protecting your home. You are here praying for your home. You are here doing those things, encouraging the people around you. Create an environment and an atmosphere that's conducive for growth and for them to just really be the absolute best that they can be in whatever capacity that you're doing that, whether you homeschool or whether it's when they get out of school, whether you're a new mom, whether you don't want to be a mom. If you're married, you're still the keeper of your home and, taking care of your spouse and just being mindful of your spouse. But make sure that you take time for you as well. It's important that we give God the Most High, Yah, His time first. But we also have to take care of ourselves so that we can continue to be all that we need and all that we're called and expected to be for others. And so, although it may seem a little shallow, as some people would say, take care of your hair. It doesn't mean that your hair has to be a certain way. It just means do it. As far as your nails, you don't have to go and get them done. You can do them yourself. And you guys have seen over the years the different things that I've had and done to my nails, and I did them myself. It's same with your toes. You don't have to get them done. You can do them yourself. Now, everybody has a different thought process with this. Some people believe in shaving, some people don't. So if you shave, go ahead and shave. I personally am a very hairy person. You guys can see that. I just have a lot of hair and I have long hair. Like I have sideburns. I have Indian in my family. And so for me, I absolutely believe there are certain parts that should be shaved. And I love arching my eyebrows and having that done. But you're going to do, again, as I've been stressing this whole video, what works well for you. And so some people don't even like eyebrows while others do. Some people like makeup, but others don't. Whatever your level of self-care is, it doesn't matter. That's not up for debate. That's not what this video is about. It's just making sure that you take that time for you. It could be in your flower garden, in your veggie garden. It could be working on the treadmill. It could be taking your walks, reading, writing, drawing, painting, scrapbooking. There are so many things that you can do for self-care. But I do think that while you're doing things for self-care that's creative, it is important to remember that we should have a priority to keep ourselves up. It's no secret that I have gained a few pounds, and I'm sure you can see it in the videos. When I had some issues with my legs, I did have to take some steroids, and so I know that, and I see that, and so I am taking steps now even so that I can get back to a certain size, a certain shape. And I do think women, it is our responsibilities to keep ourselves attractive and Modesty is something that's going to vary for each individual, so I won't touch on it in this video, but think about it this way. When your spouse leaves the house every single day, they see beautiful women. They see women that are trying to impress them or other men. They do see women with their hair and nails and makeup done. They see women in heels and suits, and they see women that are just really put together. And so it doesn't have to be that you're out buying the most expensive things, but it can even be on a budget that you just take care of yourself and make yourself look amazing. Even so that people are saying, wow, you look so amazing every time they see you, and you could have gotten everything thrifted and you could have purchased everything on sale. So I just want to remind you, even with all this, that it doesn't have to be a money thing. And if you haven't been following me, maybe you don't know, like I have a whole playlist on minimalism. I have a whole playlist on budget-friendly ideas and things that you can do even on a budget for your home, for yourself, for your family. And I even have a video showing you how to thrift and things like that. Will there be days that you just don't feel like it, that you just can't carry your normal load? Absolutely. Will there be days that you're overwhelmed and your house is a mess and you don't have anything prepared, and you might need to use a convenience food or a can of soup or a pack of noodles or something like that, or take out? Probably. The thing is, though, that is the exception and not the norm. So I just want to encourage you to really think about, you know, your life as a homemaker, the things that are going right, the things that are not going right. And when you make that list for the things that are going right, then those are the things that you're going to just continue to do, right? Like those are the things that you're going to give yourself credit for, and you know that you're doing a good job. But then there are some things that you find like, wait a minute, I have some deficiencies here. Wait a minute. I'm struggling here. I'm having a hard time in this area. And maybe you can take one or two things at a time, depending on how long your list is, and you can just focus on that particular thing. But again, just keeping in mind that seasons change, and the thing you struggle with today, you probably won't struggle with tomorrow. And so it's okay if you are struggling and having a hard time. Find you some trusted women that you look up to, that you admire, and that you trust. Trust is a key word. And share with them, I'm struggling with this. I'm having a hard time with this. Can you help me? Do you have any tips or ideas? If you don't have anyone that you can watch on YouTube that might answer that or be an example of that, I will say, I wish that I had YouTube like this when I was younger and when I first started being a homemaker, because some of these homemakers are absolutely phenomenal. Oh my goodness. And I mean, I just love them, and you can really gather so much knowledge and information from them. Habits of a Homemaker is absolutely amazing. One of the people that taught me personally, half mom, half amazing. Another OG who is phenomenal that I've met and love in person, JDA. And there's just so many other amazing homemakers that are showing you how to do this thing and do it well, with children, without children, adding luxury to it, doing it on a budget. You know, I even have a homemaker who does it on food pantry meals and hauls and things like that. So I just want to encourage you that no matter where you are, to just keep doing and being and giving your best, because homemakers, there is a need for you, and there is a need for you to rise up in your home and be and do and give your absolute best. And if you have not seen my video, I do have a video that is like an alert for the homemakers, telling the homemakers to prepare and to be ready. And along that same vein, I also have some videos telling you how to prepare for emergencies, how to prepare for just emergency situations, so more of emergency prep situations. I have videos on the essentials of that. that are food related. I have videos on the non-food essentials that you should be having. So again, if you haven't checked out the playlist, there is a plethora of information here that can really help you. And if you have any special requests, leave them in the comments. I will certainly take a look at them and pray about them and see what it is that I can share with you. I'm just continuing to clean here. But one thing that I want to say is there is a lot that I want to share and bring forth, but sometimes it's not the time for it. I have to figure out how to word it in a way that I can be positive and encouraging and share my truth while not, or trying not to offend or put so much of someone else's story or journey out there, if it makes sense. And so trying to do that with family, with marriage, is a really tricky topic, but I know that so many people will be blessed by hearing the truth and knowing that you're not the only one in those situations, because I think it's a stereotype that all homemakers have this perfect family life and this perfect spouse life, and all homemakers don't come from homemakers. I know a lot of them who don't. In fact, most of the homemakers that I know, and most of the homeschoolers that I know, and a lot of the homesteaders that I know, they did not come from a line of homeschoolers, homesteaders, homemakers, homeschool moms. They just themselves felt the call and they did that. Okay, so since I have this broth left, I thought let's go ahead and make simple string beans. Nothing special at all, but just good seasoned green beans. I did plant some Blue Lake beans in the garden this year, but it was just enough for us to eat, and it was not enough for me to like can. So I do can, but I typically don't have a lot to can for the year. It's just a little bit. Basically, what I grow, we eat, and every blue moon we'll have a little bit left that we can. Typically during the years, during the summers, I've kind of had some skin challenges because I have sun sensitivities. Great for a gardener, right? But this year, my husband and my kids are going to help me out, and so I am going to be doing a lot more canning and a lot more food preservation than what I have been doing. And I'm really happy with what I've done so far and what I've been doing and the skills and things that I've learned. So all that to say is they're not homegrown, but they're gonna be delicious when we eat them, and nutritious. Listen, no judgment, right? Because I done tasted this stuffing twice, but I had to taste it again because, you know, the first time I had to taste it to make sure it was seasoned. And, you know, the second time I had to taste it because, you know, it was in the oven. And so now I just gotta taste it because it's out the oven, and I need to make sure it's not too hot. Because, man, even though, I won't lie, I put too much liquid, this cast iron is heavy. When I was trying to pour that, I was trying to stop in time, so it was just a little bit too much liquid. Next time I will like use a measuring cup to scoop it out. But guess what? Even with that, with having just a little bit too much liquid, I think I like that because I don't really like a dry cornbread. Dry stuffing. Oh my goodness. It just tastes so good. You know what? I don't know if I got enough taste. I think it tastes a little. Okay. I hear you guys. You're telling me Chrissy don't have no more. And you're right. I should wait. I'm not behaving myself. But, can we just give him a praise? Because it's so good. Oh my goodness, it's so good. Woo! tell you something. I've tasted a lot of things over the years and I'm like, oh, that wasn't good. But that's good stuff. Okay, and the last thing that I am gonna make is sweet potatoes. Now, I am cheating. I know, I am. Well, some of you would say I'm cheating because I am using frozen potatoes that are already cut up. But I was slightly under the weather this week and I knew that I needed to be gracious to myself and I needed to be mindful of myself. So this is our base. And that's that grace that I want you guys to, that you extend to others. I want you to extend to yourself too. You know, it's not about just giving everybody else grace, but it's about gracing your own self. And that's why I have these bags of frozen vegetables. So when I don't have canned vegetables or I run out, I have something. And that's the best part. You know, there's so many types of food for sure. We don't have to get into it. The point is, I am so thankful for little conveniences like this, that when mama's on the mend, because everybody's still looking for stuff to get done. It's the reality. Everybody still wants to eat yummy foods. Everybody still wants mama to look decent. You know, everybody's kind of expecting things to still get done, even when mommy isn't feeling her best. So, tip for mommies, have some frozen things. I have a lotter. I've got a lot, you know, but have some frozen things, have some fresh things, have some canned things, have some freeze-dried. I've freeze-dried a couple things, I think in some videos, and dehydrated a few things. And then, you know, I do meal preps. Like I have freezer meals, but unfortunately we had already used up the last freezer mac and cheese that I did and a few other frozen things. Like literally I'm out of frozen things. So if you like this video today, you'll be really happy because I have a couple more coming, and if you check out the playlist, I have a lot more on there. So there really is something for everybody, no matter what you like. Seriously, there's at least one video for you here on this channel. So I am going to look at Home with Denise because she did a recipe for sweet potatoes. I'm gonna look at a recipe for that, and then I am basically gonna be done today. I think my clothes might be done. Let's take a look on that. And the tea is done, so I don't have to worry about that at all. Okay, so the washer has 9 minutes and the dryer just ended, and I've got some lint on top that we can just go right ahead and take to the compost, and a little soldier laying over there.
So the last thing that I want to leave with you guys is just finding joy in the mundane. The mundane, like folding laundry, like washing dishes and cleaning toilets, and just vacuuming and cleaning, and the chores that may not be your favorite. I know some people say they like cleaning toilets and they like cleaning, but not everyone does. And so I just want to encourage you with, if you're doing a mundane task that doesn't bring you joy, perhaps you can pair it with something that does bring you joy. So for example, maybe while you're folding or cooking or cleaning, if no child or spouse is around asking questions or wanting to talk or have a couple moments, maybe that can be the time that you listen to a podcast, an audiobook, a YouTube video, and that's a great way to kind of multitask. I know. Sometimes we multitask too much. But I think that, again, like podcast, audiobook, YouTube videos, I think that those are things that are good. Worship music, even sermons from your ministry, or online YouTube services. I think that those are great things that you can do to fill in this time so that you're pairing something that you want and you love, but maybe don't have time for, with something that you need to get done. And together the combination makes it exciting, I feel like, and just brings joy to it. So this is just something that I suggest. You guys saw while I was folding, I was drinking tea. But depending on what you're doing, maybe you can also have a snack. Again, just another idea, but now I am back over to this recipe for the sweet potatoes. And this again is from Miss Denise Gordon over at This and That. So this was a really good recipe. Like, these turned out really, really good. And I enjoyed all the things that I made today. I felt like everything turned out really, really well. And my family definitely enjoyed this. We pretty much had this meal, I would say, 3 times. Of course, not all of it 3 times. Like, some of it left the first day, but then for certain things we had a little bit of leftovers. And it may not have been a full portion, but enough that we could add with something else. I think towards the end I made yellow rice. And so anyway, it was just a really good meal. And if you have a smaller family, making something like this might seem like a lot at once or up front. However, when you think about it, if you can get a couple meals out of it, have it for a few days, and or be able to maybe have half of it and freeze half of it for another meal, that is really a good deal. And that's what I am looking for. So I am just so glad that you guys have stayed this far to watch the video. If you've made it this far, we're almost through. We are, the last thing that I'm going to be making is a cake. And my goat came to say hi. I love my goat so much. Like, I seriously love my goat. The problem is she wants to come inside. I'm like, you can't come inside. But I really, really love my goat. Like, losing the other one made me so, so sad. Like, I cried. So I'm just happy that I have her. And maybe I'll be able to get another one. You never know. But my family, they love her too. So as I am working on the 2 cakes and getting ready to wrap up this video, I thought that it would be so important to talk about one of the most important aspects to me of homemaking. And I know we've talked about a lot, from schedules and little tips around the house that help out, and tips even for having your kids help out and things like that, encouragement along those lines. But one of the things we didn't talk about enough, or maybe not even at all, is faith. And I think that faith is one of the most important aspects of homemaking, because unless He blesses our homes, we labor in vain anyway. And so we really want His blessings. And I just feel like it's really important to develop a lifestyle, a connection, a bond, a relationship with the Most High God, yeah. And we do this through reading our Bible, fasting, praying, just iron sharpening iron. So when we're with our like-minded brothers and sisters in Christ, that's another way that we do that. But it's so important that we, as women, as ladies of grace, as homemakers, are on our game again because we are really the first line of defense. Now, I know that the spouses really are, but let's face it, the spouses are at work typically. And so we are here at the house. And so it's just really important for us to remember to pray over our homes and our children, pray for our families, to pray for our day, our homeschool day, for the meals, for the harvest, pray for the things that we're planting and growing and harvesting, for our animals, all the things like that, because we don't know what blessings that we're bringing and what negative things we're keeping away by just being connected to the Most High. I am honestly ashamed to tell you how many times, half the day had slipped by and I didn't even read my Bible or pray or, cover my family or whatever the case may be. And it's just not a good thing. And so that's why I knew that I needed to adjust my schedules. And that's why, honestly, I try to get up before the kids. In a dream world, I get up at 5 every morning. I get up before them so that I have multiple hours to myself to work out, to dress, to pray, to read, to work on videos or homeschool prep or homework for my college. And the reality is, honestly, the 2 hours doesn't even seem like it's enough time. Like, I can't tell you how many days I've spent, about an hour and a half or almost 2 hours on just my Bible alone. So it's one of those balancing things. And if I'm not in the bed early enough, I struggle with getting up early enough at 5 o'clock. You can't go to bed at 12 and expect to get up at 5, maybe once or twice, but long term, it's not sustainable. So again, only you know what's happening in your home, in your life, and so you have to really just kind of plan accordingly. And maybe for you, it's not getting up early, maybe it's staying up late, or maybe it's finding time elsewhere. Again, that's something that only you know. But just like everything else, seasons change, and just because it doesn't work in one season, it doesn't mean that it won't work on the other. And because it worked in one season doesn't mean it'll work in the other. And so I find that I'm constantly in a state of balancing and rebalancing. And then once I think I've got it all together, another something gets thrown or added, and I need to recalibrate and balance all over again. And that's okay. Like, that is something that we have been blessed with the ability to do with such grace and such poise, and it's just amazing. It's challenging sometimes, but we really do know how to get it done. So anyway, I just want to again say I appreciate you taking the time to watch my video, to follow me. Oh my goodness, I just realized I'm like less than 100 followers away from 5,000. Oh my goodness. I know to some that's not a lot, I know to others that's a whole lot, but to me that is impact, and that is purpose and destiny, that I have touched these people once or more, over these past years of me being here. And that is a legacy, and that is something that is just so beautiful. And I'm just so honored to be a part of that. The Lord can use anybody, but I'm so thankful that He's used me to share messages and to encourage, motivate, and inspire His daughters. And that is just something that I don't take lightly or for granted. So again, thank you guys so much. You guys leave me the best comments. I love it when I see the pink hearts. It just makes me so happy, and I hope that I can continue to share with you guys. But even if I couldn't share another video, I think that what I have left here for you guys and for my family and for my children and their children's children and their children's children is phenomenal. It makes me feel good knowing that I have lived a life poured out. So here is what we've made today. We did this together and it was so good. So I am never out of words, but I am out of time. But you already know I'll be back soon to share more with you. And until then, blessings.